Jeffery Straker. Welcome to Homorazzi.com.
Hey, it's Patrick here with Homorazzi.com. I'm here with Jeffery Straker. He's about to perform here in Vancouver. You're on tour promoting what album right now?
It's my album called Step Right Up, and we're kind of at the tail end of things on it, actually. So this is the show in Vancouver tonight, the show in Kelowna tomorrow, are kind of two of the last shows for this album, and then I go into making a new album. So this is it.
What is the inspiration for this new record?
There's a lot of relationship-y stuff in the new record.
So is it good relationship-y stuff or bad relationship-y stuff?
It's a bit of both, in fact.
Personal experience?
Some, and some is friends. So I'm pretty good at channeling other people.
And you're an openly gay musician.
Yes.
So there's a lot of stuff going on right now with all the teen suicides and that sort of thing. What can you say to the people that are struggling with their sexuality and with all the homophobia and from your experience?
It's interesting because my experience touring in Canada, when I first really started touring a lot 4 years ago, I was actually quite scared of what would happen if I was really, really out on stage. And if anybody knows me, they would know that for me to not be out on stage is practically impossible. So the question was, what will happen? And I really feared it because it was quite unknown. And what I found, and what I find, is that when I'm genuinely myself on stage, that it's actually quite overwhelmingly accepted, and people quite like it, or they seem to like it and really accept it, that hey, this guy is seeming to be quite comfortable with who he is. So I mean, and I really feel for people who have had negative experiences, but I think certainly the solution obviously isn't to don't withhold who you are. You got to be who you are, and you got to put it out there. It's unfortunately other people who have to kind of come around with their narrow-mindedness. It's really sad. Funny thing is, like generally wherever I go in Canada, and I do most of my touring in Canada, my audiences are, there's definitely a good gay lesbian community chunk in my audiences, but there's a pretty hefty straight hetero chunk too, and they just don't care, and it's really neat. And I did a concert around Toronto Pride at Buddies and Bad Times Theatre in Toronto, and so like the gay national theatre of the country, and the audience was about 70% straight, and when it was done, the theatre director came over and said, "You've crossed over." I was like, to what?
Well, your music is very very unique. How would you describe like the genre that you're in?
Cabaret-driven piano pop, because it's got an element of cabaret in it.
With you going to Nashville, is that changing your music at all to more country with this album, or?
No, but it's a really good question. I made my last album in Los Angeles, and it was a Canadian producer who's very much a pop producer. The guy who's in Nashville has produced a lot of country stuff, but he actually has produced a lot of pop stuff as well.
And so when you go down there, is there a set amount of time that you're going to be there for that you know of already, that you just got to hammer it all out, or are you just kind of going to go on this creative journey?
You're asking all the questions that make me nervous, because there's actually November 13th to 19th, I'm going down, and we will finish 2 songs, and that's kind of like it's our courting, and I'm quite confident it's going to work out. And then after that, I'm going to go down for a longer time and do more. But we're kind of approaching this as like, you know what? We know each other. We know what each other can do. We know what each other is hoping for. But we've never worked together. So we're going to try out our working relationship, much like dating. You got to kick the tires, kick the tires, then do a test drive, and then see if you want to drive it around the city for a couple months, right? So we'll see.
Well, we're very excited to hear what you guys come up with.
Thank you.
And we're loving your album. Can't wait to see your show tonight. And thanks so much for spending the time to talk to us today.
Thank you very much.